Welcome. Today we're going to talk about the December real estate numbers just released by Treb. And I'm joined by one of my great friends and colleagues, Lawrence Mak, Mississauga real estate agent. Lawrence, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, Chris?
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Excellent. So Lawrence, lots of buzz about the December numbers. I think we've broken some records. I'm curious to see what you are seeing and how those numbers are breaking down for you as a realtor. Why don't you go ahead?
Awesome. Well, let me share my screen. Give me a second. There we go. So December, this is based on just the December numbers and not 2020 as a whole. But specifically in December, we're talking 7,180 sales. This is across all the different types of houses and across all the GTA, which is up 65% since last year. And the average selling price is about 932,000, which is up 11% from last year. So that's with all the different types of houses, and but condo apartments specifically have been going down. Overall in GTA, about 2%. Overall in GTA, and specifically downtown Toronto, it's about 4.6%.
Are you shocked to see those numbers?
Not quite. You can see the going trend because of COVID. Again, everybody is trying to get out of the downtown core. So you have problems such as no more Airbnb. You have problems such as the student housing. The rental market there isn't quite there because you could do virtual learning and international students are no longer living here. So there's a lot of reasons why that's happening. And plus people want more space.
Yeah. Okay.
Overall, in Toronto, as you can see, typically you have a spring market, it goes down to the summer market, and you have the fall market. This fall market was quite extended, probably pent up demand from the previous spring. And you can see it peaked around October, and now we're down a little bit. Although we are down a little bit in December compared with November, it is quite significantly up since the previous year, up about 11%.
And this is what we're looking at here, prices on this graph.
Yeah, this would be the average selling price. So on average, the price sold for 932,000, which is up 11% from 2019.
Got it. Wow, that's incredible.
That is quite a bit. So this is the snapshot of the different types of houses, just to give you a quick idea. The detached home market is going crazy. Months of inventory, usually around 1 month or less. And sales to list price is pretty good, close to 100%, few weeks, days on market kind of thing. But the main thing you need to look at here is the Toronto condos, which has been a lot of sales. Months of inventory is about 2 months of inventory. What that means is that there's about 2 months, if no additional condos came out on the market, it'll take about 2 months to sell all of them. And that's significant since previously it was measured in weeks and now it's measured in months. So
and the average day of sale. So somebody is trying to sell a condo right now, reasonably, they should expect between 30 and 60 days to sell?
Yeah, pretty much. And plus this is the number based on whenever a property is listed and then tried to sell. It does not really include when a property is listed, delisted and relisted, and then delisted and relisted again. So the number is probably higher by a little bit, but we don't know what the actual number is unless you do complex calculations.
Now I'm looking at the, at the bottom, if you can go back to that slide. It indicates between 0 and 3 months of inventory is still considered to be a seller's market. So it's not as if the sky is falling.
Correct. It's been pretty much a seller's market in the GTA for many, many, many years. Hasn't really been a balanced market.
Counting in decades now.
Yeah, possibly decades. I mean, it hasn't really been, it's balanced in the buyer's market in certain pockets, but in general, the real estate market is very robust in that the values hold and they start going up.
Right.
So this is the Toronto condo apartments. And they did some weird thing where it goes up and down, up, down. We're roughly here. First of all, it's gone down since October. The second thing is, as you notice, this is the previous line from 2019. We're actually down about 5% from the previous year.
Right. And this is in terms of sale price.
This is in terms of sales price. So previously, when condos were appreciating $50,000 per year or 15 to 20% appreciation year over year, now we're talking a depreciation of about 5%. So
Right. Well, we can, that trend, that downward trend seems to be pretty, we've seen it before. I'm looking at what year is that? The Burgundy 2017, there was a similar dip at the end of the year as well. That was when the B20 rules came into play.
Yeah, and here's where the foreign buyers tax haven. So yeah, there's
Right.
always a lot of things that affect the market, but
Right.
the going trend right now, as you can see, it is going down. I
Hmm.
mean, anecdotally, we're seeing that the inventory is starting to tighten a little bit, but it's still, in my opinion, a little bit more of a buyer's market than it was previously.
Sure.
So these are the ideas of the Toronto condo rental market. This is only based on Q3 of 2020. We don't have the Q4 results yet. The
Hmm.
Q3, which would be the third quarter of last year, if you're talking the number that are just for lease, we're talking about 35,000 for lease. And this is an increase of 114% from the previous year. So the previous year had maybe 16,000
Yeah.
units that were for lease, and now we have 35,000.
Oh
So
my gosh.
there's a significant number of people trying to rent out. The number of people who actually rented it was about 14,000. As you can see, these are the average prices of rental per
Hmm.
month, and it's gone down since the previous year, 2019. So maybe
Right.
a single bachelor would have been like 1,800, 1,850, something like that. Now it's only
Hmm.
1,600 per month as of Q3 of 2020. So as you can see,
Wow.
as a landlord, owning right now isn't the best time. The general
Right.
recommendation is if you could hold it, try to hold it, because a lot of people are trying to sell or rent it.
Right. 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 Okay. I see that trend downward. So what are we looking at here?
We are looking at
Evictions,
a
2 week
map
period.
of evictions, and I believe it was a 2-week period. This is from the LTB, the Landlord Tenant Board. And there are quite a lot of eviction notices and hearings. That just gives you a snapshot of the GTA of what's happening now. So
Right.
it's not that easy to be a landlord just to own a place and rent it out and make a whole bunch of money. I mean, that's a myth.
Right.
It takes effort.
Well, let me ask you, Lawrence. I mean, if you're a landlord who owns property, condo or detached or a townhouse, when you see something like this, should there be concern? I mean, what kind of guidance do you have? Do you wait it out, or do you try and dump the property now? What's your guidance as a realtor on this?
So
How do you see it unfolding?
typically my guidance doesn't have to do with the specific property. It has to do with the situation of the person who's holding the property. So some
Hmm.
people were speculating maybe with Airbnb, had a few properties and now they're not making any money. You should pretty much dump them all now because it's very difficult for you to hold them from a financial
Right.
point of view. But if your
Right.
long-term goal is, we want to have 3, 4, 5 income producing properties over the long term, then this is really just a little bit of a blip in the whole situation over the decade
Yeah.
horizon. And I think it's okay. And I would probably recommend to try to wait it out or maybe rent out for a slightly lower just to get the cash flow. And then when everything gets better, then it's okay. But if you sell it
Right.
now, you'll probably be selling it at a little bit of a discount.
Right, right, right. Depending on when you bought it, of course. But yeah, I
Of
think
course.
it's important for cash flow. And one of the amazing things that I think as a broker and dealing on the financing side is we of course have very strict stress tests in order to qualify for a mortgage. And all
Right.
those stress tests, there was a lot of criticism over the years about how the government was manipulating and changing things and making it difficult for borrowers. But in hindsight, uh, hindsight 2020, that may have saved the GTA market from collapse, and we're showing a lot of resilience, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I mean, in general, I always feel that the Toronto real estate market is very robust. I mean, where else would you want to live, really?
we it's such a Toronto thing to say. We are the center of the universe. We are
We
the
are the
best.
center of the universe. But like I tell people, if you're going to pick a country to live, I mean, my top picks would be Canada, US, and Australia, and maybe not the US anymore. And if you're going to live in Canada, right, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal.
Yeah,
So if you're anywhere in the world and you had money and you're leaving, like where do you want
yeah,
to immigrate to? And
yeah.
my feeling is Toronto is always going to be the place to be. So
We're
from a macro
so
point of
fortunate.
view, I think it's very robust.
Yeah, we're so fortunate, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Lawrence, we're going to leave it there. I really appreciate your time. If somebody wants to get in touch with you to talk further about real estate and what their needs are and what guidance you can offer, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Best way, either give me a call myself, 416-276-4895. Find me on social media or just go to my website at lawrencemak.com.
Awesome. Thanks again, Lawrence. We'll see you in a couple of months.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Chris.